Hi everyone, and welcome along to this flight sim video. I haven't done one of these for a long time, but I recently downloaded this livery for this Aer Lingus 747 and I absolutely adore it, so I thought I would do a little video, see how it works out. Okay, so just getting the power and everything ready on the plane. Let's get into the air as quickly as possible, not waste any more time. So I'm using the Salty Sim add-on for the 747. It just gives you a few more buttons to push, and it tends to fly with a bit more stability as well, which is always a good thing in the new Flightsim 2020. Can't exactly say it's been the most stable of games, as any hardy simmers will well be aware of by now. Okay, just switching on the anti-ice stuff. Having a look at the onboard computer. Now, there's a scale, I think, of simmers who, some are really immersive and they get all the charts and all the technical data and like to put the routes in manually. I'm afraid what I do is mainly the default settings on the game, so I sort of do the bare minimum because I just want to get into the air and see if I can successfully take off, well, taxi first of all, take off and land the plane. So I'm just getting my speeds up on the computer for takeoff. So I've got the settings to ultra, and it seems to work pretty well for me. I mean, I've got a GeForce RTX 2070 Super on the computer at the moment, and I haven't had any problems with it so far. It seems to run pretty smoothly. So here we are at Athens airport, and there's the beautiful Queen of the Skies herself, 747. I love this livery because it just looks a bit weathered. The aircraft just looks like it's been, you know, round the block a few times. It's not sort of showroom gleaming. It just looks a bit worn, and I like that. I like the fact it's not perfect. And the great thing about the livery is it doesn't suffer from the mirroring problems that other add-on liveries have had for the 747 because of the way the text is generated on the plane. So we're just getting the APU on so that we can start the engines and get the fuel pumps switched on. Get the passengers safely strapped in, and I think we're more or less ready to start the engines. Just contact. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of the ATC, I must admit. Not exactly very reliable as far as...
taxi to and hold short of runway 21 left via taxiway Echo Charlie 2 Charlie Charlie 01 Delta Delta 12. Contact tower on 122.1 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 21 left using taxiway Echo Charlie 2 Charlie Charlie 01 Delta Delta 12 Shamrock 210.
So, time to get the engines up and running. Starting with engine 4. I'll just let the AI control the ATC, and then I don't have to worry about it. Now I'll put the links, so everything that you see on the game here is default, apart from the Aer Lingus livery and the salty simulations added, whatever they've added to the default 747. But everything else, the scenery and everything is default. Airports are default, including this one at Athens and the one in Dublin, completely default. So we started engine 1. Now I'm not sure what the correct order is. I think it's 4, 1, and then 3, 2. I think is the order that you're supposed to do it in, but I'm not sure. I don't think it matters, to be honest, in this simulation or game. So I've just started engine 3. And finally, engine 2. Now the other thing I have set on the game as well is unlimited fuel. I don't want to be messing around with fuel and working out how much fuel I should have on board. So I still got on this setting of unlimited. So here we are, pushed back and ready to taxi. Now this is a fair old beast of a plane to taxi. Yeah, it's not easy. I don't know whether that reflects reality or whether there are issues with the program. I don't know. I know that it doesn't like turning sharp corners. You really have to take it very easy, slowly, and eventually you will get round the corner. I know some people actually use the engine, the thrust on the engines, to turn right or left, but I tend to keep the engines sort of at about between 35 and 40% roughly, and then use a combination of braking and turning to get round those corners. So, and I like the little marker. I keep the markers on as well, because at least it shows me where I'm aiming for. So I've got a taking off from 21 left. So we've got a 2 kilometer taxi to the beginning of the runway, and I've got a little I like to have the VFR map up throughout the flight, because I like to see where I am. And it's particularly useful when you're taxiing, of course, because you can sort of see where you're heading, where you're going. So I've got the RTO, just switched that on in case we have to abort the takeoff for whatever reason. And I've set the initial climb for 10,000 feet. I've got the flaps ready for takeoff. I've set them at 10. Looks like I'm speeding along here. I think this, I don't know whether there is a speed limit for, I think there is for taxiing. I'm not terribly sure what it is. But, yeah, I'm doing about 34, not 35. It's probably a bit fast, to be fair. It's probably between 20 and 30, I would have thought. But, oh, going to clip a few little aircraft. I don't know why they're parked there. It's a daft place to park in it. Okay, so let's see if we can get around this corner in one go. So just slowing down, putting the brakes on, and just take it ever so slowly. Accelerate. At the end, 42%, and then just turn slightly, turn the rudder very slightly, and it does turn very slowly, but at least it turns. Right, let's get the lights on for takeoff. Ready to enter the runway. Everything's set. You can see I'm a bit wide of the... I had to take that corner a bit wide. However, I'm here, I'm on the runway. So far everybody's alive. Okay, let's get lined up in the center of the runway. Okay, that's it. Let's go. Let's try and keep it centered. Positive climb. Gear up. And off we go.
Shamrock 210, contact Athens Center on 135.875.
Going to 135.875 Shamrock 210. Athens Center Shamrock 210 is at 1,700 feet, climbing 10,000 1,000 feet.
So make sure our throttle's on, put on
Shamrock 210 Athens Center.
LNAV,
Continuous clear.
VNAV, both seem to be working okay on this plane, thankfully.
Shamrock
So we're now on
210 traffic.
autopilot.
It's 5 o'clock 3
And
miles.
there's our
and
route, as you
400
can see
feet
in the
Airbus,
purple
B28.
line,
Report
pink
them
line.
in sight.
Shamrock 210
Reduce the
have the traffic.
flaps.
Athens Center, aircrete tree. 82 heavy is at 1,000 feet, climbing 7,000 feet.
Just getting up to our speed now, accelerating up to, we want to get up to about 250.
29.2. Aircrete tree, 82 heavy traffic, is 10 o'clock 3 miles, at 3,400 feet, Boeing B748. Report them in sight. Aircrete tree, 82 heavy has the Boeing B748 in sight.
I mean, one thing you have to admit about this game is it's a hell of a lot better than FSX because the scenery is just spectacular. And I think that's really what you're paying for, isn't it? Oh, and I've changed the weather settings. I put scattered clouds rather than live weather, simply because I like to be able to see what's beneath me. It's a shame that you're flying over such amazing scenery, which is obscured a lot of the time by clouds. So I thought that I would just sort of put scattered clouds, which I think is a good sort of halfway point between real life weather and nothing. So at least you've got the realism of some clouds. Now I realise before anybody says anything, of course, that this isn't a real life route. I don't know whether Aer Lingus fly between Athens and Dublin. They probably do, but I'm sure it's not in the 747. Well, I don't think they haven't had 747s for years, as far as I know. But you know what? The great thing about this simulation is you can fly whatever you want from any
Climb and
airport
maintain
to
flight level
wherever you want
180
on the
Shamrock
planet.
210.
They have every airport on their database. So that's the great thing about this simulation. So we're above 10,000, so I can turn all the lights off, all the external lights. You can see that the speed is now accelerating because we're above 10,000 feet. And we'll soon slowly get up to cruising altitude. This is the view I'm more familiar with, sitting as a passenger. It's a long time since I've sat in an airplane. done a pretty good job of the clouds, I think, in Flight Sim. The default ones are pretty good. Sometimes you get these little digital anomalies. I'm not sure what causes it. I've seen it on other videos and streams as well. But on the whole, the clouds are pretty convincing. Oh, ice.
Shamrock 210 climb
Obviously,
and maintain
window
flight
ice,
level 300.
de-ice.
Keep speed below 210 knots.
Climb and maintain flight level 300. Keep speed below 210 knots. Shamrock 210.
And I'll ignore that speed. 210 knots? No, I'll ignore that. That's ridiculously slow. Window 8, there we go. Get rid of the ice. Okay, there's not much left to do now. Just let the plane do its stuff. I've just used the flight planning within the game. I haven't done anything. I don't use any other add-ons or anything, so I just set up the flight plan on the world map in Flight Sim, and just use that for setting up the ILS landings and so on. Yeah, those clouds look pretty realistic. I'm happy with those. Back in the FSX days, of course, you had to have add-ons, didn't you? Wrecks and so on to get decent clouds. But those aren't too bad. I think we can unleash the passengers now that we've done a couple of those tight turns. Okay, so here we are a little while later, in fact a lot later. In fact, what happened was I had to restart this because the program started to become so glitchy that I had to restart the computer and restart the flight. Hence why I'm over France at the moment. It was really annoying, but it was unplayable. It didn't crash on me, but I had no choice but to shut it down and restart the computer. And it seems okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come back when we're starting our descent into Dublin. Hopefully it'll be a nice sunset. So here we are flying over North Wales. We've commenced our descent. As you can see, we're at about 22,000 feet. And I think we're going to have a really nice sunset landing in Dublin. And the great thing about this salty simulation 747 that it has that green curve on the screen, so you can put your descent rate in, and the green curve will tell you where you're going to reach that altitude, so you can make alterations to your rate of descent and your speed so that you can match where you want to be at a certain height. I like that. So we're going to have a nice gentle descent into Dublin. I'd rather get in at the correct altitude than leave it too late and you have to sort of nosedive onto the runway. So this is a good way of doing it. Plus you get lovely views. As you can see, we're just about to fly over Anglesey. There's really nice clouds, aren't they? I love the different layers and colours. They are very realistic, I have to say. Well, I think they are anyway. They look pretty good to me. And I love the wind flex you get on the aircraft as well. It looks really good. This is definitely a view I'm more familiar with. Going through the clouds and then the land beneath appearing every now and again to give you a sense of what height you're actually flying at. Now I think under the wing there, I think that is the port of Holyhead, as far as I know, where it looks like container ports and what have you, and of course that's where the ferry service is to Dunleary. So I think that is Holyhead beneath. We'll have to start thinking about getting our speed down, because below 10,000 feet we're supposed to be at about 250 knots. I'm just making minor adjustments, keeping an eye on that green curve. I don't want to get to 2,500 feet too early. Just want to be able to intercept the glide slope into Dublin Airport. That scenery, isn't it gorgeous? That's sunset. The way the sun is just shining through those clouds, it's almost like a painting, isn't it? Wow. That's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it gorgeous? Look at the sun reflecting off the sea as well. It's beautiful. Bring that speed down a little bit more now because we're approaching. That's just, we're under 10,000 feet now. Let's get the passengers strapped in. Hopefully it won't be a bumpy landing, but who knows? I haven't got exactly 100% track record on any of the planes yet on Flightsim, but I'll do my best. I don't want any casualties. Okay, we'll just bring up our first stage of flaps. That'll help us to slow down a little bit as well. Oh, I silenced the ATC as well because it was driving me nuts, so I silenced them. See if I can get a screenshot for the thumbnail. Let's get this clutter out of the way. Lovely. That's the screenshot sorted out. Speed down even more. Got 5 degrees of flaps now. Land ahoy, I can see a bit of headland there. And the runway isn't actually far inland. Gotta keep looking at the sunset. This was mesmerizing. I love the way it shines through the aircraft windows as well. But I suppose I better concentrate on getting the plane down. So I've turned on the APU, so at least it's available on landing. We can see the guides now for the ILS, the 2 diamonds. Get the flaps down to 10. Turned on the localizer, you can see the runway ahead now, so the pink diamond on the display is slowly moving to the center line to get us nicely lined up with the runway. We've got 20 degrees of flaps down now, so we can get that speed down. "25 flaps. Runway is dead ahead. Get ready for approach. There we go, approach active, glide slope active. Final flaps and gear down. Okay, here we go. Oh, I get so nervous at landing because you just want to do a good job. So let's see what happens. Right, I think we're fully configured for landing. We can get the speed down a little bit more. Looks like we're lined up. Okay, we're on the glide slope perfectly. We've got 2 reds, 2 whites ahead. Bring the speed down ever so slightly.
1,000.
Looks like we're pretty good. I'm happy with the approach so far. Okay, getting ready to turn off the autopilot and the stall there. And the auto throttle as well. Let's see what we can do here.
500. 400.
Bit high.
300.
Let's get the everything off. Right, we're fully manual.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Come on, come on. It's floating, floating. There we go. Landed. Nose is a bit in the air. It's about 10 degrees. Come on, nose. Reverse thrust. Oh, there we go. Nose down. Blimey. Wasn't the best landing I've done, but it was okay. There were no fatalities. Everybody survived. Oh, glad that bit's over. Actually, this bit can be just as hairy as I'm trying to navigate the old taxiways. Here we go again, trying to get this beast round corner. Just take this corner slowly. Come on, girl. There we go. Nearly there. That was a bit of a tight turn. Right, let's see where I can park. Now the ATC is bringing me in to a general aviation parking, and I think this plane deserves a bit more than a pay and display car park, so I'm going to aim for a gate. Let's see what gates are available. Get the runway lights off. I love that sky colour, it's amazing, absolutely beautiful. Oh, speed brakes and flaps. Let's get the speed brake back to 0. There we go. Flaps are coming up. Yeah, I'm not parking in there. It's ridiculous. Bit of respect. No, I don't think so. I think we'll head to the terminal and find a vacant gate. With a jet bay, I'm not parking in there, it's ridiculous. Oh, that's a runway. I think I should have checked there was no traffic on it first before I crossed it. Never mind. Now let's turn and head over to the right. Oh yeah, there's gates over straight ahead. I'll head over to there, whatever terminal that is. Bright lights of Dublin ahead in the background there. Oh, there's some sort of spiky anomaly. Looks like the aliens have landed. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I think it's a glitch. I don't think it's a building. I think it's some sort of little glitch. Oh, squeeze between the wing. Alright, that's perfect. Slam on the old brakes. Put the parking brake on. That's it. Get the engines off. Oh, yep. Oh, and then get this up. What do we need? Oh, we've got the external power available, so we can use that. Get the lights off, taxi lights off. And all the other bits and bobs, get those lights off. Get that out of the way, right. And turn off the APU, we don't need it. And turn off all the fuel pumps, get those off. The window heat, we don't need that. De-icing, we can switch all that off. There we go, let's get the jetway out so that we can release the passengers. There we go, jetway is being connected just as the sun is setting. There we go, that's it, that's the flight over. I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't the best of landings, but I think that you'll agree the scenery was pretty good, if nothing else. So I hope you enjoyed this videos, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your stay in Dublin. I'm going to be doing a flight into Belfast City Airport, which is a new add-on, a new free add-on, along with Belfast City Scenery Pack, which I've downloaded. So that's going to be on my next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.